Hello everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we have a replay that's been submitted to me, and we have in the red in this bottom left hand corner Mr. BarCast TV playing as Cortex, starting in the bottom left position. This is a pretty normal position for people to start in, and his opponent today is Mr. Teddy. Starting in a bit of an abnormal position here. Starting in the bottom right hand corner. And it is not a bad position, to be fair. You can see that he's got the mechs there, and then the mechs then. He's already in the water. Whereas BarCast is only just getting into the water himself. Now, people often pick the position that BarCast has here in order to get a bunch of like windmills easily on the shore here, but when you look at Teddy, he's still managed to do that himself, but he's had to do that off of the mechs there and then the one that's in the water. But first factory is already built by Teddy. BarCast only just starting to get his factory up. Another difference, by the way, Teddy also in blue today as a marder. So we are going to see the different boat factions to play here. Now, some could say that dolphins are by far superior than the supporters here. And they don't trade very well into them. So it's 1,000 support energy used to build a supporter and 100 metal. Whereas when we select the dolphin here, you can see the energy is literally 1.5 times the amount of energy, and wow, 75 extra. So basically, you can get like 1 3/4 supporters for 1 dolphin. So it does mean that BarCast should be able to pump out more numbers on less metal extractors than Teddy can. Now, as we zoom on out on the map here, you can see we've had a couple of games on this before, but there are a lot of metal points on the land, as I'm just trying to silhouette for you here. And being able to get the ones on the land is not to be underestimated here, as a lot of metal to be had on land. Now, and there's also even some on these little islands here as well. But getting something to get on the land there, to get that, is not easy. So what we'll probably see here is the commanders are not really going to move at all. It's more likely going to be the commanders are probably going to be staying building the economy on the land areas. Maybe seeing them move to like this point here for BarCast, then up to get these 3. Then up on the land and then build up here. And Teddy will probably do the opposite. You can actually see his commander starting to make a move that way anyway. Building that tidal, assisting the factory, and then probably going to go down and get these. It's going to be a bit of a rush right now to get as many units out as possible. We can see BarCast desperately rushing as many of these supporters out to defend his constructors that he's got spreading out. And both players with the same amount of constructors desperately pushing quickly. BarCast in the bottom right here, you see using his commander to get that wind power up. And the energy here that can be gotten from trees is not to be underestimated. That's 6,000 energy. So being able to eat the trees there is quite an advantage. Good early bit of harass to get through there, that supporter. But the one thing here is early harass is going to be difficult to do with all of the metal points here being underwater. So we're probably going to see some very early submarines coming out. The job here is that he's just trying to attempt to get the construction boats. If he can get a construction boat, then that's a big win. But look, you can just see the damage inflicted. 27%, and he's only at 65. So these early supporters are going to get taken out pretty early on, very easily. Both players here just trying to shell up a defense in the front here. Try and stop any form of harass. These torpedoes, though, can be dodged very well if you are good at micro, because they shoot where your ship's going to be. So, like that one, for example, shot there when that unit was moving. But if you, like, stop your unit, then the torpedoes still go straight. The torpedoes aren't tracking. So, you can, like, juke these torpedo defenses if you're got good enough micro. Unfortunately for BarCast, he is getting a lot of his supporters kind of trapped here. And Teddy's actually done an amazing job here at spreading out very, very rapidly. You can see here that Teddy's already claimed this top section and BarCast is only just getting to it and is about to actually lose 2 construction boats if Teddy is paying attention, which it does look like he is going for now, yep. And as well as in the middle, he's about to lose that as well. Oh, the Dolphin, with the support of that construction ship, did actually manage to win out. But that construction ship did get obliterated. Now, this torpedo defense will get finished, but it's not really going to be enough to deal with the 3 Dolphins on their way in, if played smartly. Oh, there is a submarine there, though. Ah, well played. That submarine manages to arrive just in time. And Teddy's commander also showed up. Now, very smart use here. He attempted to self-destruct there to deny any reclaim, which it kind of looked like it went off, even though the timer was like 3 seconds. But already, Teddy starting to get a very, very large chunk of Dolphins up. And the reason why we don't see many supporters is because BarCast has already switched over to these assault frigates, which are the perfect counter to Dolphins. Fortunately, it does look like BarCast is going to lose yet another construction ship. And unfortunately, that second torpedo defense was literally moments from being finished. Wouldn't surprise me if we see a Resurrection sub brought into this middle area. Although I'm not sure if the Resurrection sub can get there. Another lost construction ship actually on the south as well. BarCast have a bit of a limiting area here that he controls, which might cause him problems a bit later. Seems Teddy is very happy to just kind of shore up some defenses up top and in the middle here. Just quite happy to sit there. This Riptide taking way too much damage and gets killed before they even take out the torpedo defense. And that now opens that entire way open for Teddy to attack if he chooses. Does have 4 Dolphins down there ready to go. No submarines out from Teddy yet. Oh, interesting. Teddy actually plans here. He's reclaimed his factory and has just instantly transitioned over to seaplanes. Interesting, cool. Seems this is here to help him transition over and get the land mexes. Good group of assault frigates in the middle, though, from BarCast. And he is just consistently pumping out ships right now. If BarCast is able to spot any aircraft, though, that is going to mean he's going to be able to get air defenses up pretty quickly. Fortunately, he doesn't know what's coming. He does have a guy on his way, but it doesn't look like he's on his way to build a radar, unfortunately. Interestingly enough, we actually see Teddy pulled all of his units into this middle section here, and looks like he might be going for BarCast. No. Oh, BarCast actually pushing along the north. There are a lot of torpedo defenses here, though. You may have to be careful that he doesn't get flanked on. Kind of needs to keep the submarine alive, though, in order to actually defend, or actually attack the metal extractors. In rushes the dolphins, though. Very, very large amount of dolphins. BarCast a little slow to react, losing another construction ship. And it's not looking good. Meanwhile, as you see here, look at all these gunships being built. 5 of them so far. Surprisingly in a defensive pattern around that constructor there. BarCast actually has built a Tech 1 Air Lab so far, which is not a bad idea for him. He's going to be able to get some good use out of that air lab when these gunships come along. And here the gunship's about to come into play. And unfortunately, not a single fighter out yet. And we'll just watch how quickly these gunships... Oh, what? Gunships weren't on a fight move. And because of that, they kind of just flew straight over. And he desperately tries to run them away. Teddy doing a great job of focusing the construction ships there in order to stop any AA getting built. We do see an AA boat here coming out from BarCast, but unfortunately it might be a little bit too late. These ships are taking an absolute beating. And his commander also in a bit of a precarious position. Luckily enough AA has been built on this northern island that should deal with them pretty effectively. The AA gunship, the gunships here, not to be sneezed at. And so many dolphins. And this one, actually, this one sub over here from BarCast has just been slowly going around, taking out all of the extra metal extractors here from Teddy. Doing a great job. It seems like Teddy has no plans to deal with that. And look at Teddy's builds right now. He's got 2 shipyards. Shipyards are very expensive. Just constantly pushing out dolphins, and that is it. BarCast, however, focusing purely on this one shipyard and the air plant to get fighters up to deal with all of those gunships. Now, the thing is, seaplane gunships will be far superior. Seaplane fighters, rather, will be far superior. So, BarCast is going to need the numbers. Right now, when it comes to metal per second, BarCast is in the lead just due to that submarine's harassment of the metal points. Unfortunately, that sub does manage to get taken out. But here comes a big push in at the bottom. BarCast forces are not in position. And this is now looking dangerous for BarCast. He has tried to push in the middle to try and force the forces there, but gonna let all these guys through. He does have some assault frigates fresh at the factory. Fight in the middle. These gunships are still alive pretty easily here. BarCast could really do with some resurrection subs. There's so many ships left alive. If he got like a resurrection sub, he'd be able to res all these dolphins, give him a bit more of that numerical advantage he's kind of needing right now. I can see he's putting them basically into reclaim to just try and get more of his assault frigates. Look how much stuff there is in the middle here. 900 metal in the middle. Enough defenses on this north side here that you can't even send anything through it. And enough fighters also to cause Teddy a bit of a problem when it comes to the gunships now. BarCast just slowly scaling up his economy. Teddy attempting to do the same with his commander. His commander's just constantly building wind a little bit further back. Another construction ship about to be lost by BarCast, but he did prioritize trying to get some of the reclaim. So with this fight lost in the middle, we actually see a push along the bottom here from BarCast at the same time. He's doing the very smart move here of he knows he can't win in that middle fight. He's trying to put attention elsewhere and force Teddy to react to him rather than him just reacting to Teddy. And instantly you can see those ships in the middle did not continue that push because he was not sure what was needed at the bottom. And that's kind of buying him some time now to get some new forces up there. Surprisingly, some destroyers coming out. Ooh, torpedo gunships is not good for BarCast. They are very, very good gunships. And quite sturdy as well. See how long it's taking for that to be shot down. Had no air support at all. Now he just turns them around again. But a lot of reclaim to be had. 1.7k reclaim along the top. At the bottom, 1.6k. And even further up north, we've got a little bit of chunks of reclaim every now and again. The destroyer will help, especially at dealing with the economy. And you can see that the range of the destroyer is a lot more. But it also means if he pushes in, he's able to kill any, like, underwater mechs. He's also probably expecting some submarines to come out from Teddy. As of yet, though, there are none. Teddy just purely going dolphins, and that is everything that he is building. So right now, BarCast building the right thing. But as you can see, look at the economy here at the top. Teddy with an overwhelming amount of metal, because he just reclaimed both of his labs and is going into Tier 2C. Meanwhile, BarCast along the bottom here has a seaplane factory as well as an air lab and a Tech 1 ship lab. So his advantage will only last so long at this point. He does need to be careful. Res sub is spotted here down the bottom. These assault frigates are going to get collapsed on very quickly. Unfortunately, these assault frigates just not able to kill dolphins quick enough with the sheer quantity of them. And now this is a very, very large wave of dolphins to be heading directly towards BarCast. Surprisingly, though, Teddy turns around. And this is where this res sub just get in, get all this reclaim, and this would be a perfect time for him to transition to Tech 2 himself here. Oh, seaplane bomber wave attempts to come in. Unfortunately, gets intercepted and unable to do anything. But big thing now, Teddy with a battleship. This is a bit ballsy to go straight into a battleship. He could have gone cruisers first and then went into a battleship, or even go for some of these new electric Maelstrom ships. But no, straight into the battleship it is. That will make a huge impact if he can keep stuff in front of it. And also, on top of that, BarCast does not have a very large quantity of torpedoes, submarines yet. But that's one thing, is Teddy has no sub-killing units right now. I know BarCast doesn't have many subs, but this battleship can be very, very heavily destroyed by subs. Meanwhile, the fight on the north. Again, unfortunately, BarCast kind of losing on every angle here. BarCast has now definitely spotted that battleship. And that will make very short work of the huge quantity of assault frigates that BarCast has built up. And with now 2 battleships and a cruiser, cruisers will deal with any submarines. BarCast needs the transition over to Tech 2 himself very, very quickly. What is his plan, though? BarCast doing a relatively good job, though. He's managed to push through on the north side with the help of these seaplane gunships here. And his idea now is just to cause a little bit of harassment. Meanwhile, though, he is in a very dangerous position, though, as most of his ships are up here in the north. He has very limited numbers along the south here. But it does look like Teddy is reacting to this harass that BarCast has sent across. Killing some of these titles won't really do too much, but if he's able to get the metal extractors, as well as, you know, all of these on the shoreline, that is going to be a bit of a substantial damage. Oh, he's tried to attempt to go in on this battleship here. Very, very ballsy. He does almost kill it. BarCast not paying attention. Battleship at 7% health, 5%. Oh, another group comes in and managed to kill the battleship. There is already still one further north, but that is a big loss for Teddy. The question is, can BarCast get that reclaim? He's desperately running one of these Death Cavalries forward. His cruiser getting surrounded here by the assault frigates. But rather than BarCast going for the base, he's just sat outside the base. Bit of a mistake here from BarCast. Had a good opportunity there to do some decent base damage down here, but unfortunately, he was Micro was elsewhere, and because of that, he's kind of let these forces. Well, these forces are going to get stuck here. Manages to turn them around quick enough, but that's a lot of metal that BarCast has just got, and he himself has just transitioned over to Tech 2 himself. But rather than going for a battleship, you can see him going Buccaneers. Now, we did see a game a very long time ago. I can't remember who it was against, but it was like Taku and someone else on a map that was very high metal. And whoever went Cortex battleships came out massively on top. And they win very, very favorably versus Armada battleships. So, if BarCast can get enough of the battleships for Cortex, he is going to absolutely decimate Teddy. Question is he going to be able to get them in time? And the res sub, unfortunately, only able to get about 40% of the reclaim from the battleship. And that's still quite a lot to be left. 1.7 metal, K metal, just in those 2 wrecks alone. But BarCast doing a great job here. A lot of the metal points have been taken out that Teddy used to own. BarCast owning very much the middle. Because of the Tech 2 transition, though, Teddy is ahead when it comes to metal production. BarCast ahead on energy build power, though. And it's very, very close when it comes to damage dealt so far, and even army value. Some unfortunate angling of these forces here means that he does lose 2 of these assault frigates for the 1 cruiser. But with the location of Teddy's base, this position is very, very tenuous at best. Another construction ship, though, to be lost here. BarCast losing a lot of construction ships in this game. Do we see any battleships queued up yet? No, still no battleships queued. And surprising, actually. He's actually also gone back into assault frigates. I am somewhat surprised he didn't either mass supporters, because they're so like cheap. He could use them to try and soak up some of the shots and get like surrounding flanking damage. But instead he's gone for assault frigates, which are, you know, relatively expensive. I mean, these Buccaneers are 1,000 metal each. The Battleship is 3,400. So he could build, you know, 3.5 cruisers for the cost of one battleship. He doesn't need the flagship. It would just be absolutely ridiculous. He could not survive long enough to do that. Oh, that's surprising. BarCast actually getting rid of his Tech 2 lab and going pure Tech 1s. That is very interesting choice there. Looks like BarCast attempted to go all in on this attack to the north here. This is going to do a lot of damage. The battleship taken out, one cruiser taken out, only a single cruiser left. And that's all the cruisers down. Some tiny naval walls built in the middle section here. Probably just to cause some intended pathing issues, but this has meant that you can see, oh, mines, naval mines. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Two cruisers just absolutely annihilated. Very smart move there by BarCast. Meanwhile, this force is pushing ever so closer to Teddy's base. Teddy managing to resurrect one of the battleships, but BarCast doing a very good job at pushing in here. He is getting attacked in this middle section, but there are so many mines around there. It's probably just a matter of time until he runs into them all and loses all of his ships. Although BarCast runs into a problem here. He doesn't have quite enough to win this. And this is a very, very large quantity of metal to be leaving on your opponent's doorstep. Res sub is already there. 6.8k metal, and it's probably about to be more like 8k. And this is not good. Look at the rate that these cruisers are coming out. BarCast needs to be putting pressure on elsewhere. This one cruiser actually did manage to survive and is doing this, putting pressure on BarCast along the top. BarCast has rerouted some forces to deal with it, but a lot of metal. See, 6.5 and another 5k of metal there. BarCast in a very, very strong position still. The question is, can he get enough units out to do enough damage? Because this reclaim is going to send Teddy's production through the roof. And most of it is Tech 2. BarCast mostly only has Tech 1 left now. He's only got these two cruisers and that's it. I'm somewhat surprised he didn't get like a single battleship out before reclaiming the Tech 2. BarCast's economy, look, all the numbers in BarCast's favor right now. Cruiser's doing a great job at dealing with the Dolphins. And ship combat, so slow. All the ships are just so slow. Oh, these cruisers in a bit of a risky situation here, getting a little bit surrounded. This one here is definitely dead. BarCast could probably do with a few more resurrection subs. Try and get some repairs on these cruisers. Even resurrect Teddy's cruisers. Like, if he's not going to have his own Tech 2, then he could maybe resurrect some. We do actually look like we see that happening here. Yeah. We see Teddy actually choosing the option to resurrect all these ships instead. That's going to save him a lot. But I was just about to say, I'm surprised we're not seeing BarCast send some units up north, but literally that's what these are up here. A couple of destroyers that will be able to hit the underwater mexes. And Teddy doesn't really have the ability to leave his base right now. He may send these destroyers up north to deal with those Tech 1 ships, but just shows that Tech 1 is not useless in the grand scheme of things. But I think it's only a matter of time until the sheer quantity of cruisers here is going to overpower the capacity of all of these Tech 1 ships that BarCast has. I think he's like hoping to draw his opponent out so that he can get the reclaim. Because at the moment all the fighting's taking place right outside Teddy's base, and that is limiting him. He's also has air superiority with all these fighters, and yet he's not really dealing with any of these gunships. Another great push here from BarCast. That's another 2 cruisers, 3 cruisers dead. These assault frigates and destroyers doing an amazing job. Unfortunately, this force here is about to get attacked by these 6 cruisers. And this may be the final attack BarCast is able to muster. His forces get surrounded a little bit here, and that's going to be all of the Tech 2 that BarCast had completely destroyed. And again, unfortunately, it leaves it right outside of Teddy's base. Teddy resurrected the battleship again. And on the mini-map, actually, we see BarCast has rebuilt his Tech 2 and has actually started building his own battleship here as well. BarCast being very ballsy as well. He sent this Tech 2 guy all the way out here to cap the metal extractors that Teddy is supposed to have. That's going to force him to have to send something up there to take it out. Not only that, but BarCast doing a great job here at actually taking out this economy, Tech 2 economy as well, that Teddy has. And Teddy being starved for resources. However, also then at the same time not being starved because of how much metal is being dropped right outside of his base. These cruisers here getting caught out a little bit again, but these forces from BarCast getting caught out as well at the same time. The battleship being resurrected is going to do a substantial impact, but only until BarCast's battleship gets along. And that battleship's going to make short work of the cruisers. Now, how can Teddy come back from this, though? BarCast in a very, very strong, demanding presence right now. Teddy, limited on resources. He has turned off his air lab, it seems. I would maybe contemplate reclaiming that. 1,400 metal. That's, you know, almost half of a battleship. He doesn't want to invest too much into battleships, of course, because he needs the units right now. But here comes the battleship. How quickly that kills the cruiser. And also these, I love how there's just sneaky sea mines everywhere. Oh, looks like BarCast is actually having some energy problems. As we saw briefly there, the battleship was not able to fire. Wind is currently dropped, which is why wind only at like 5. Both players are quite reliant on wind. And now BarCast battleship in a bit of a precarious situation here with no energy to fire its secondary gun, out of position. And BarCast battleship gets destroyed on the reef in the middle. And that is the battleship that BarCast so heavily needed, destroyed very, very quickly. But we see here this battleship along the north, not really got anything to fight. And there's just an overwhelming amount of cruisers now coming out from BarCast, a total of at least 13 on this frontline position. Teddy desperately trying to reclaim as much stuff as he can. Unfortunately, it looks like he was focused on getting the geo point. And I think at this point, BarCast is very, very heavily won. Now, this force on the top could cause BarCast some problems. He has enough time to push through and cause some problems. But we can actually see this guy here is just slowly building these torpedo defenses, which has actually almost killed that battleship. And BarCast just kind of going for a containment situation right now. He does kind of need to try and get some of the reclaim to stop his opponent getting it, though. Which is what these air constructors are for. Just to come in, suck up as much reclaim as possible. We've got BarCast selected here. You can see how much metal he's currently got stockpiled from just having a brief amount of time where he's able to get some reclaim in. And now Teddy really, really struggling. He doesn't really have anything left right now. BarCast doesn't know this, but he could very easily win with what he has already. We see BarCast defending these cruisers off on the top. Maybe about to hit a mine. Do hit a mine. Got to get some friendly damage here from that mine if it hits. No, but does lose a very, very valuable tier 2 constructor. Not only that, more dolphins going through the middle. Popped by a mine. And the final fight taking place here as BarCast moves in. Tier 1 lab gets destroyed. Slowly but surely, anything that's getting built just outside of Teddy's base, Teddy could really do with maybe like sneakily standing here and de-gunning. But with that, Teddy calls the GG. Great map control there by BarCast. And yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.